Hi, it's Tamara here for La La Land Crafts with another card making tutorial. This week I'll actually be making some Valentine's Day tags using the new stamp set Sent with Love. I'll be doing some Copic colouring and then some ink blending and dry embossing. So let's get started with some colouring. I've grabbed some scrap pieces of black cardstock from my stash. They're around 250 GSM, and I'm going to be cutting out two of the second largest tags from the large stitch tags dies. So I want to also make white panels for the front of these, and I'm going to be cutting out from white cardstock, also 250 GSM, two of white panels measuring 3.5 inches by 2 3/4 inches. So I've just grabbed out my Tim Holtz trimmer and I'm just going to cut them down to the size that I need. So I just used a piece of scrap white cardstock I had in my stash, and I can get both of them cut out from this piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to make sure that fits my tags. And then I've grabbed my round edged hole punch, and I'm just going to round off the edges to match in nicely with the tags, which also have the round edges. I thought this would look a lot cleaner and match in nicely. So that lines up and fits perfectly. I'll be using the heart stencil from the Hearts and Harlequin Layering Stencils kit. So I'm going to pull out the heart stencils for this. Initially, I'm going to be doing some dry embossing. So I've grabbed my rubber mat for my Sizzix, and I'm just going to take that to the die cutting machine and run that through. So now I've got a beautiful embossed layer of hearts over this first piece of white card. For the second white tag front, I'm going to be doing some ink blending, and I'll be using Distress Oxide's Candied Apple and Black Soot for this. I'll be using the Candied Apple for the whole front, making sure I get a good amount of coverage with those hearts, and then just around the very edge of the tag front I'll be doing a bit of black soot. So you can see me dabbing off any excess ink onto my mat, and then I'm just going back with the Candied Apple just to smooth that blend out, so it is a nice even blend from where the black soot meets the Candied Apple. And that has turned out perfectly, so we'll set that aside to dry. For a bit of dimension, I'll actually be stacking my XOs, so I need to cut these out 12 times to get the amount I need. So I'll need 2 ink blended with black and 2 ink blended with the red at the bottom. So I've grabbed some of my washi tape and I've attached the letters to that. It just helps me hold them in place while I'm doing the ink blending. I'm just doing a little bit on the bases of each, one lot in black soot and the other in the Candied Apple, and I'm just putting a small amount on, just blending it out to the white. So I'll do the same now in the red with the Candied Apple, just a small amount of red down the bottom, just working up into that white, just working in circular motions and just dabbing off any excess onto my glass mat, just to make sure that I don't add too much color to those letters and I miss out on that smooth blend up into the white cardstock. So we'll finish that off and we'll set these letters aside to dry while we stack up the rest of the letters. So I'll just grab out my Nuvo glue and I'm going to be just gluing the panels to the front of the tags. So we'll start with the hard embossed one and then we'll add our ink blended one to the second tag that we'll be doing. So you just want to try and center that into the middle of that tag so you've got a nice border around the edge, and just give that a press down. And now we'll do the same for the ink blended panel. So I've put some glue on the back and we'll get that stuck down. I kind of went in there a bit crooked, but thankfully with the glue you can wiggle that around and get it into the placement that you need. Give that a press and ready to go. The Sent with Love stamp set comes with a heap of sentiments, but I just want some single strip sentiments for my tags. So I'll be using the Sent with Love and the Be My Valentine tags. And I'll also just be die cutting a couple of these supports for the top of my tags. So I have both my sentiments now cut out. And I wanted to shorten this one because it's a little bit long on one side. So I'm just going to tape this down and take that to my die cutting machine. So I'll take that off and you can see now I've got the perfect centered sentiment for my tag. I've just grabbed my small scoring tool and I'm just going to reinforce the actual line for my tag supports, so that they fold quite crisply when I get them attached. So we'll just fold that, grab our bone folder, and we'll just give them a good burnish down so that they're nice and crisp for attaching at the top of the tags. So just burnish this one both sides is always good, and that ensures that they're nice and straight for when they're going to be attached. So I'll add some glue to these tags. I'll just grab my reversible tweezers because it'll be easier to hang on to them. So I've grabbed that, and so we'll put a bit of glue onto both sides and we'll just pull that off and attach that to the top of our tags. So it just fits nicely on there, and that just gives your tag top a nice support for when you're actually going to put your string, or I'm going to be using ribbon at the top. My ink blended letters are now dry, and I've already pre-stacked my XOs so that I've got my dimension that I need. So we just need to now glue our black and white and red and white letters on top of those. So I'll just show you one, and you'll realize, you know, what to do for the rest of them once you get those attached. So we'll just line that up, making sure that it's even all the way around. And now you've got some nice dimension and an ink blended letter. I've finished off one of the tags so that you can see an example of what I'll be doing with this tag. I've used a pink ribbon for the one that I've done the example of. With this one, I'll be using a red ribbon measuring 7 1/4 inches long. I found that works quite well and is a good length for the tag. Now this end is a little bit frayed, so I'll just give that a snip at an angle to tidy that up. I've also got some black twine which I'll be tying around the red ribbon, and I've actually cut that to 10 inches. You can trim this down, but I like to work with it a bit longer because I have trouble tying these sometimes, as it's quite fiddly and I've got quite clumsy fingers. So I like to do it a little bit longer and then trim it down once it's tied. So this will give you an idea of how to tie it, and then you can just adjust it to the length that you're wanting for both the loops and also the tails of your bow that you have tied. So I'm just pulling that through to shorten my loops, and just pulling those ties down so that they hang out of the end for the bottom, and then I'll just make sure that's secured tightly so that won't move, and then I'll just give those tails a quick trim to the length that I'm wanting. So you just adjust it to the size that you're wanting, and then once you've got the size that you want, then you can trim off the ends of those tails, and that's ready to go. I find using my T-ruler is best because that way you can ensure that you're lining up your letters in a straight line. So I've just popped that down against the side of my tag, and I'll grab my Nuvo glue and we'll pop the first X on. You've only got 2 letters, so you just kind of want to see them spaced evenly from the side and evenly from each other. So just line that up. You can either measure it out or just eyeball it like I'm doing. With only a few letters, it's quite easy to just eyeball it and get it in the position that you're wanting. So I'm just kind of offsetting it, so between the red and white ink blend and just black letters, and that matches in really well with the color of the skunks. So just give that a press down, and then you can space it out up above, just following along with the XO that you've already put down the bottom to get the XO up the top, and just line them up so that they're evenly spaced and straight. Just give it a wiggle in place and a press down, and then we'll do the same with the O. Just put a small amount because you don't want that squeezing out onto your ink blended panel. So just line that O up with the O below. You'll see that that's most probably a little bit high, but that will work. I've grabbed my sub sentiment, so you will need some both foam tape because we have popped up those letters, and also a little bit of glue where the tag goes across the letters. So I've just popped 2 little foam dots on the end of the sentiment strip, and just the glue along the top and the bottom where it will go across the letters. So we'll just line that up to make it straight, and then make sure that's straight before we give that a press down on both the foam tape and also the glue along the letters, and that's nice and lined up straight. I've already popped some foam tape on the back of the skunk. There is a little bit of his foot that will be resting on the top of the X. So I've just placed a little bit of Nuvo glue on that so that that's supported once it's attached to the X. So we'll give that a good press down, make sure that's lined up. So here are the finished tags for this week. These are so adorable and they would make great additions to any present that you're going to give to your partner for Valentine's Day or anniversary. The whole Scent with Love set is super adorable and really versatile. It has heaps of sentiments in there, both for Valentine's Day, birthdays, and any occasions like that. I've had so much fun colouring these up. The skunks are super cute and really fun and easy to colour. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you can hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.